This video begins with a stroll down my block in Houston, Texas, where I can't help but notice the sorry state of so many driveways. But amidst the sea of crumbling concrete, my neighbor stands out. He's in the process of replacing his driveway, and I couldn't resist the opportunity to find out why. What's your name, neighbor?
My name is Michael Krasno, and I'm the owner of this beautiful establishment.
And what crazy idea was it to replace your driveway? Wasn't good enough the way it was?
It wasn't good enough the way it was. I'm getting old, so I shuffle like an old man. I was afraid I was going to trip, and afraid that maybe one of my neighbors might trip, so it's time to get rid of the old and bring in the new.
So why are the driveways so messed up in our neighborhood?
I think it's a combination of age and trees and floods.
How many floods here?
I think in the last 35 years, there's been like 5.
5 major floods.
Yeah, especially in this neighborhood, because in this neighborhood, we've had 3 major floods since Harvey because of the developer floods.
Wow.
But you had Ike and a number of other major rainstorms. And you've got the growth of the trees. Those are 35-year-old pine trees, and they have a lot of roots, and elm trees and oaks. Their roots have just torn up everything.
Before the new driveway, the old one's gotta go, making way for a fresh start. Concrete forms are set up on the edges, and half the driveway is reinforced with 3/8-inch rebar. You see Juan Carlos tying off the rebar with wire to hold it in place during the pour. You'll notice the powdered sugar. It's hydrated lime. Lime is sprinkled across the area to help dry the soil and enhance stability. Quicklime, or hydrated lime, helps dry out the ground, and in the case for expansive soils that swell, it will help stabilize the surface. However, you need more lime than what we have here, and it needs to be worked into the top layer, not just sprinkled like baker's flour on top. Note how Bulmaro pins the rebar about 3 or 4 inches into the garage and house slab so the driveway will not lift or sink at the threshold. The following day, the crew readies their tools for the concrete pour. The action begins when the concrete truck arrives and backs up the driveway. The pour begins with only half of the rebar in place so the truck can roll up the driveway without running over the steel. I asked the driver about his concrete mix in the drum, or concrete mixer that spins to combine the sand, rock, and Portland cement.
¿Qué clase de cemento traes? ¿Cuál es la mezcla?
Es un cemento de 3000 PSI o piedra regular.
Piedra regular, de 3/4.
Sí, 3/8.
The mix in the truck is sand, 3/8-inch rock, and 5 sacks of cement per yard to yield a rating of 3,000 PSI or pounds per square inch in strength. This is suitable for driveways in a temperate zone like Houston. Driveways should use between 3,000 and 4,000 PSI concrete. Juan Carlos uses a concrete placer to push the mix around and spread the concrete evenly. The rebar is picked up as they go, a common but incorrect practice. It should be placed on spacers or rebar chairs to meet the building code requirements. According to Building Code R506.2.4, reinforcements should be supported within the upper 1/3 of the slab during concrete placement. But what these fellows are doing is standard practice, and an instant where this is how we've always done it is wrong. The intention is good, but the method is not effective. As the guys work the wet concrete, they step on the rebar, which may not end up where it's supposed to be in the top half of the slab. Proper rebar placement involves using spacers like these. These spacers or rebar chairs hold the steel reinforcement in place throughout the pour. The guys use a 16-foot aluminum screed to level or strike off the concrete. The straight aluminum bar removes excess concrete and gives the top surface a proper grade. It's an important step in the operation because it will determine how even the driveway surface and how well it drains. You always want the concrete to be a little high so you have something to strike off to a level surface. It takes practice to develop the coordination to pull the screed together and kick your feet back with each step to fill in the holes left by your boots. Juan Carlos uses a hand float to smooth the wet concrete surface. While the concrete is still wet, the first finishing step comes with the long, smooth strokes of the bow float. Jose irons out the wrinkles and seals the surface using aluminum extension poles for reach, since the concrete's still too wet to walk on. The bow float leaves a nice, even line if the screeding is done well. The ready-mix truck pulls out as the guys install rebar for the second half of the driveway. The truck backs in, leaving one lane of traffic open to pour the second section of the driveway. As the second pour begins, notice Jose's hand gesture.
Se hace así para el camión camine por delante,
Sí,
para que ese concreto y le hace esta seña,
sí.
para que pare, se empuña o baja la mano y él sabe que se va a parar ya a echar cemento.
Workers use universal signs to tell the driver what's needed. A circle motion to start the drum and pour the concrete, signs to back in, lower, or raise the chute, and a fist to stop. There was almost enough concrete to finish the job on this second section of the pour, but not quite enough, so Bumar ordered another 3 yards of cleanup load to finish the job. The crew rests, waiting for excess water to evaporate and the concrete to set. After a well-earned rest, the crew gets back to work on finishing and polishing the concrete.
Bueno, Oscar, ¿qué es esta máquina acá? ¿Para qué es esta
Es
máquina?
una máquina para trabajar el cemento, ¿verdad?
¿Y qué hace esa máquina?
Esta lo que hace es bajar la piedra,
Sí.
sacar el cemento para darle un mejor acabado.
Ah, y la van a usar ahora.
Sí, ahora la vamos a usar.
The power trowel is used for a rough finish when the concrete hardens enough to walk on. But a power tool will not give the fine surface required, so Jose uses a steel finishing trowel to polish the top of the driveway using kneeboard sliders for easy movement. An airplane groover on an extension pole is employed to create control joints. Control joints create weak points in the concrete where it will crack so the surface does not fissure in a random pattern. However, the control is not absolute. Concrete will still crack in weak spots such as curbs. However, the rebar will hold the driveway tightly together so it will not separate more than a hairline. Curves are sculpted to perfection. A fine broom finish adds texture to the surface. As the work nears completion and the crews begin packing their tools, Mike grills some wings for the crew on his neighborhood-famous smoker. The driveway appears finished but needs time to cure enough for heavy traffic. In just 3 days, it will be ready for a thrilled homeowner enjoying their beautiful new driveway.
It's usually about 3-4 days before you can put a light passenger vehicle on a freshly poured driveway. Takes a full 28 days to completely cure, but light passenger vehicle shouldn't do any damage. Looking quite beautiful. Look how white it is. Very big improvement. The driveway's taking on a nice uniform color. There's still a bit of a darker spot where there was a very wet spot in the dirt underneath the driveway. But otherwise, things are looking really nice. Uniform, beautiful, clean, white color. Neighbors going to be very happy with these results.
And that's not all. Afterward, I asked Mike if he was pleased with the results. Let's hear what he had to say.
Well, neighbor, the driveway looks absolutely fantastic. How do you like it?
I think it's pretty nice. It's very white because it's brand new, and I think Cordova Concrete did an excellent job from the very beginning of the tear out all the way through the finish. I think it's going to last at least my lifetime.
And there you have it, a glimpse into the driveway replacement process. We hope this has been informative and gives you an idea of what to expect if you ever need to replace your driveway. If you liked the video, please smash that like button and subscribe. If you want to know more about home building and remodeling, see my books on Amazon. Thank you.